It's the planet's ultimate game.
It's Carvajal's cross. Rodrigo. Oh, extraordinary. They prayed for miracles, and miracles arrived. Real Madrid, the team of dreams.
Xhaka's corner shot. A game of the Arsenal bench. This is the lead.
Would the Celtic guess who's never went away?
It's 2-1. A phenomenon.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Third. It's me, Sam, aka FIFA Brit, and I am joined by Mr. Brad Thomas. We took a week off last week. The international break was on, and honestly, there wasn't really that much to talk about apart from England being weirdly difficult to predict. But if you knew the situation, you'd know that was going to happen. So, yeah, but we're back now. 2 weeks, but now we're back. So, yeah, Brad, I know you dabbled in the international break. How was that for you? Because I fucking hated it.
Dude, it was, I felt like I was like, at the first day, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a shit ton of money. And then I was like, slow down. It ended up going pretty well. I was really cautious, right? Like, if there were more than two players rotated, I didn't even touch the game pregame. Because I just like, even three players is just such a big difference to how a team performs. And like after the first set of games, I was like, I'm betting everything, you know? And then once I made that decision, you could start to see like it was a little bit better. Like, I mean, there were games that had over set at 3.25 and they would end 1-0 or 0-0.
Yep.
That's what happens when you have a ton of rotation.
No, I feel that. It was, this is all going to play. This is all going to come down to the unfortunate news that happened since we started recording, which is why this international break was probably so fucking annoying for me, is FanDuel, as everyone probably knows, and if you don't know, then where have you been? You haven't been listening to this podcast, that's for sure. We welcome you on board. But if you somehow don't know this, FanDuel has removed the first half shots market. And that makes me sad. It's... we had a good run, like I know you had some great bets, Brad. I mean, I've been doing this for like ages now. Yeah, and honestly, it was probably, I know the last time we spoke on this podcast, we were talking about Office Better's absolute nuke in the Europa League. I think that's what killed it. I think that might have done it. We've been doing really well. I don't want to brag, but I do think I was one of the first people to like really like get into this market. Like, starting back in the 2022 World Cup is when I really sort of like dug into it. And then, people hopped on the train and it's a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with it. It's been going for 2.5 years, probably longer. Just that's how long I've been doing it. And this was it. We finally killed it. Now there is some hope. Not much hope, but there is some hope. People kind of forget the history of the first half shots market. And if you did, don't worry. I'm an expert, so I'll happily tell you the history. Back in the day, and Brad, you probably remember this. Back in the day, maybe a year or so ago, we used to have first half shots for everything. We had it for the Prem. We had it for Bundesliga. We had it for Ligue 1. We had it for La Liga. Had it for Champions League. New York never got it for Serie A for some reason. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense to me, but Serie A had it as well. Then around, I want to say, oh God, I don't even know. Maybe October, November. So maybe about a year ago, they removed it from every league apart from Serie A, which made no difference to me because I can't bet it in New York, the Prem and the Champions League. They took it away from everything and they only left first half shots on target or full game shots. And that was a big deal because that was just like, wow, because I used to do builders in every single league. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's really hampered it. They even had it in the fucking Australian A-League. And that made that league fun, staying up until like 4 o'clock in the morning so you could degen bet Joe Lolly props. If you know who Joe Lolly is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're a fellow A-League degen like me. And then, so that was like that for like a few months. And then in January or February of this year, they added it back for La Liga. And I remember line shopping for La Liga, and then I saw first half shots were back, and I was like, "Yo!" I texted the Gold Boys research chat. I was like, "Yo, boys, it's back in La Liga." And we were all just like, "Oh, let's fucking go!" And then we realized that, we realized what everyone knows now is that La Liga is, for the most part, pretty shit. But every now and then, for every 10 games that was shit, you have one where Hector Bellerin last season, and the last game of the season, Hector Bellerin, they made captain and they played him at right wing, and he got 2 first half shots, which was plus 3,000 or something like that, just for 2. And I was just yeah, I was on that shit. And so they added it back for La Liga. So, clearly it's something they've looked at before. And they were clearly just okay, we're losing too much. We can't specialize in every single league. So we'll keep it for Prem, we'll keep it for Champions League. And then eventually they added back La Liga, probably because they knew it was fucking shit and they knew they could get people to bite on that awful league. So that's my long-winded way of saying we don't know for sure if it's dead for sure. There's a good chance that, they've spent the international break and maybe they'll spend another month or two just being yeah, we really kind of got killed on this. But here's the thing. I don't even think they got killed on it. I know for a fact they make money on every single market. They must do. It's just a matter of how much money are they making? It's are they killing us? Or is it just
keeping the lights on?
Yeah, exactly. Or is it just they're ticking over? And I know for a fact a lot of people in Gold Boys tailed that Office Better Lotto. And, I had a bunch of people on Twitter saying, "Sam, I think you killed the first half shots market." And I was just I don't think so, guys. I know I've been doing it for a while, but I don't think this one was me. This was definitely Office, because that fucking plus 68,000 new. Yeah, that would ring a couple of alarm bells if I was FanDuel to me. So, credit where it's due. That's probably what's killed it. And now we're in this weird in-between phase where FanDuel's probably taking a look and figuring out how they can fuck us over. And, at the end of the day, it's a one-way market. They can make these odds as terrible as they like, Anyone that's got Bet365 probably knows how god-awful these odds can be, So they can juice the fuck out of these lines. And if they do, that would really, really suck. But right now, there's still a bit of hope, but they are almost certainly thinking, hey, how can we re-offer this in a way that's going to make us more money? And that's either going to involve with fewer markets, worse prices. Yeah, it's going to be one of those two. Or we never get it back at all.
What's probably sucks for them too is it's the only bet that is taken with high odds that is last minute. Mm-hmm. Most sports books, when they put out lines, and they do this with first half shots too, they have the openers, right? They set these lines at openers, really low limits, and then they let money come in. But that's maybe 5 or 6 hours at the minimum. A couple days normal for football, right? But basketball, 5 or 6 hours, maybe overnight. They can't. There's no such thing as openers for soccer, because most of the bets we're taking are lineup dependent, which don't come out for until an hour. So there's no way for them to figure out their hold, and they just get crushed. And then when guys have 50,000 followers that get the bets and then they destroy them, they're well, our necks are out there getting cut.
Yeah. And what's frustrating is that you really, even though a lot of things are lineup dependent, so the positional aspect of taking advantage of this market, a right back playing right wing, or a center mid playing as an attacking mid, that's a positional way of taking advantage of the market that you can't determine until an hour before when lineups drop, or probably even shorter, because then the lineups drop and then you have to figure out where the fuck everyone's playing. Just general prices, I don't know, Haaland, for example. Haaland's playing up top. You know that for a fact. That's never going to change. His lines might drop, and the beautiful thing that I've spoken about before is you can take these bets without lineups if I was about to say if someone's starting. You don't even have to know that. You can just, if you like the matchup, you can take it, because it will void if they don't start. The only risk is if they sub in the first half, which only really occurs because of injury. So you could wait for lineups, but you could also, if the market opened, and the market for the weekend typically opened on Wednesday at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's always hella late. And by the time you'd wake up on the Wednesday morning, they'd be there. But honestly, I used to see people that were snagging prices overnight and just like, yo, I went to bed at 2:00. When the fuck did you get these lines?
Yeah.
But like it would typically
I do that to
like,
you.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the hell did you bet this?
I know. It makes me. It's always fun because I'm up late, Brad. I'm up late. perks of not having a family.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like you could take those lines before lineups. You could really get in early and be sitting on something really nice. I used to do that with Christian Eriksen, 2 first half shots at the Euros. You knew where Eriksen was going to play for Denmark. He's going to play attacking mid. And he got 2 first half shots in every game he played for them in the Euros, which was gorgeous. So like, at that point, I don't have to wait for lineups. I know, if you're smart, you know where he's going to play. And if you like the matchup, you can get in early. And now, really, that's just kind of killed it because unless you want to dabble in first half shots on target, which frankly, I don't. I did a little bit.
I took Brandon Johnson this weekend.
And it's not it's a totally different market. Like
different bet entirely.
It's like, and a lot of people were just thinking, if a guy takes loads of shots, you can probably take him for a shot on target. Like kind of volume.
They are.
It really depends who they are. There are like Madueke. This man will shoot from anywhere, and for the most part, his shots are going wide or they're being blocked. He's not necessarily an on-target guy, and if they are on target, he's probably scoring. Same thing with Saka, less so for a certain extent. He's been shooting a bit more now. But typically when Saka puts it on target, he's usually scoring. He's not like a volume guy. And so it's just like it completely depends on the kind of player. And it's just like, and what I loved about the shots market is shots are stackable in like this is why I love soccer. Baseball, you got to wait your turn, NFL, it's back and forth. You got to wait your turn. Basketball, it's a little bit better because the possessions change every like 30 seconds, but you also have to wait your turn. Now, some things are stackable, like rebounds and stuff like that. Those can technically stack. Shots are the most stackable event within like a small period of time. You can have a guy take 3 shots in like the space of 10 seconds. Well, maybe not 3, but you can get 2 shots.
Yep.
You can absolutely rip a shot and it blocks off someone like on a free kick. You take a shot, hit the wall, shoot your rebound, bang. You just got 2 shots in the space of 5 seconds in essentially the same event, basically. Yep. You can stack those. You can't stack shots on target. Well, you can. It's a lot harder.
Really hard.
And it's not going to be the same guy unless you are taking a penalty and they save it into your path and you shoot again. Typically, the only way you're going to see a stack on a shot on target if some guy hits it, the keeper saves it, and the rebound goes to someone else and they score the rebound or they shoot from there. You can stack it that way, but you can't stack it for a player. And so most shots on target end in a goal or it's gone out for a corner. It's not coming back into, or the keeper has it in his hands and is now about to distribute possession. It's not going to stack and multiply up the same way that shots do. It's a much more lower volume market, and I don't like low volume markets.
And like, there's no like cheat codes to a shot on target. Like we get cheat codes with shots, right? Like this team's going to be hacking a ton, and he's the free kick taker. He still has to be precision to get that shot on target, but that's a free shot because he's taking it, right? Mm-hmm. Like. There's no cheat codes, and that's what makes it really difficult. I
know. I was so annoyed. So, England frustrated me for several reasons this break, but the one that really pissed me off was Cole Palmer because we had no first half shots. And I wanted to, in the first game, I was like, Cole Palmer's getting, he's only played 2 games for England. And it's just like, he's getting a start in the form of his life right now. Let me fucking ladder his first half shots. Of course, it wasn't there, and he gets 3. He gets 3 inside, 20 minutes. And it was just like, this was the easiest. It was so frustrating. And what do they end up doing? Shots on target from outside the box, because those are a lot of fun. And I took Palmer for 2 shots on target outside the box because I was like, there's a good chance that they let him take a free kick over Trent here because he's absolutely nailing it right now. So I took Tielemans for 1, and I took Palmer for 2. Tielemans gets his in 5 minutes. By the way, a lot of fun for international breaks. Side note, if you enjoy betting, if you like first half shots on target. Tielemans is always like plus 500 for a shot on target in the first half. Dude did it both times in both Belgium games, and he should have had two, but he skied his penalty. So remember that when the next time Belgium play, Tielemans loves to rip. But Tielemans got his shot from outside the box, and Palmer got a free kick in like 5 minutes, and he hit it over the bar. And I was just like, bro, just put it on target. Not that difficult. So it's a completely different ball game now that we don't have this market. I said I wouldn't go on for too long about it, but honestly, I feel like
you went on less time than I thought. I think we're at 18 minutes. Oh, 15.
We're 15 minutes. Look at me. Considering it's a pretty sizable part of my strategy, I think I've explained the situation fairly well and why I don't necessarily like first half shots on target. There can be value there. I'm not writing off the market entirely, but for the most part, it's not going to be like you can't just like take guys for two shots on target in the first half is almost never going to be priced the way it should be. Because it's just that's so difficult to happen.
But wait, I am going to take one this weekend.
Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to hearing that. Beautiful. All righty. Well,
so chalky, but you're gonna laugh.
Hey, do you know what? If the value is good, it doesn't matter if it's chalky or not. If it's a good price, it's a good price.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the death of the first half shots market, and we'll see if it comes back. Anyway. That's about it. That's all I really have to say on that. And, I'm going to have to rethink a little bit of my strategy and just play things cautiously. But that was a sizable part of my portfolio of gambling bets every weekend. So that's just gonna be interesting. I'm not gonna force action elsewhere. I'm gonna dial things back and sort of go back to my roots. Both teams to score and team totals. Those old bets.
Those are the days.
But
back, Sammy.
Let's talk about some weekend action. We've been deprived of domestic soccer. Let's get back into it,
baby.
Start with some Premier League. The early morning kickoff. We have Spurs against West Ham. Now there are a couple of games this weekend that I think scream goals. This is one of them. This could be fun.
This one screams goals. Total set at 3.5. It actually money's coming in on the under, which is not. For people who bet on soccer, just realize whenever you have high totals of 3.5, money normally comes in on the under just because the value hunters, it's just really hard to have 4 goals on average.
4 goals is a lot of goals.
Yeah. Listen, this is the Brennan Johnson game for me.
Mm-hmm.
I bet all things Brennan Johnson. I bet him to score a goal. I bet him to have 3+ shots. I bet him to have a first half shot on target. All really good numbers. All numbers have hit, all which have hit in this really crazy run that he's had. He scored like 7 straight times across all competitions. In some of those games, he didn't even start. Every start but one. Not in all competitions, but for Tottenham, he has seen 3+ shots where he started. They're going against a West Ham team who West Ham know this is like one of those games. The team they're familiar with, the derby, the bad blood. They know tactically they set up so good against Tottenham, right? Like beat them on the counter. So what does that mean? Tottenham are going to have so much volume. They're going to shoot so much, and Brennan Johnson is going to get a lot of those. So this is the Brennan Johnson game for me. I don't normally put this much money on one player. I have 3 units risked on him in this game.
Ooh, that's a little spicy. I mean, it's hard for me to argue with that because he's playing really well.
He's playing insane.
May I ask, what did you get on Brennan Johnson 3 shots?
-110.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
-110. That was 365.
Beautiful. Of course, it's a book I don't have. Well, I have it, but I just don't feel like going over to Jersey. I was in Jersey last week. I don't need to go back there.
How far is it for you from Jersey?
I mean, it's if I see something that's I think is a lot of fun, I can get there. I'm near the path, so I can hop on the train and be there in half an hour if I have to. So
it's not 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not easy,
Yeah.
But it's doable if there's something I like. Like for example, not that it hit, but it was worth the trip. Was I saw this. This is not the example I should be giving for why it's worth making a trip to Jersey to place a bet. But it was Tim Ream to score a header at +8,000 against Mexico. I was just like, yo, if this man's scoring, well, considering he's like 15-1 just to score, this man's not shooting it with his foot. He's got 1 goal for Charlotte FC this season, and it's a fucking header. And I was just like, yeah, that's worth $5. And if he gets it, I make 400. That's worth hopping on a train. To most people, to most sane people, that's probably not worth hopping on a train. And I won't fight you on that. I was just,
you're a psychopath.
I'm a psychopath, so I felt like doing it. But like, if I want to, I could do it.
But listen, I don't have that option. I literally have to make the phone call and say, yo, this line just dropped. Can you please take it for me? That is my only option.
Yeah. It is what it is. What do FanDuel have, Brennan Johnson? -155 for 3 shots, and that's just gross. All right. I'll shop that around. If I can get that at like -120, I'll think about it. But honestly, it might just be worth taking Spurs team shots if that's relatively fun. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's on FanDuel, it's -115 to get them to take 20 shots. 20 is a lot of shots.
It's a lot. They average 13.5. They'll probably take 17 minimum in this game, but 20 is a lot.
20 is a lot of shots. And that's why
100% negative game script.
Yeah, and see, that's why I miss having reasonable limits on Bet Rivers, because I could Bet Rivers offered the under, and it's the only book that I could get an under on in New York. Whereas 365 offers it that you can get an under there, but like you can't do it anywhere else. DraftKings won't do it, FanDuel won't do it, So and I love an under because a lot of people, people bet overs and it drives the number up, and I'll happily take a dip on that. Like I would bet under 19.5 shots on Spurs. I would absolutely do that. That's a lot of shots.
That's a lot of shots.
It's a lot of shots. But yeah. This game should be fun. I'll probably just end up taking
a team that's favored in the game.
Yeah, because That being said, a sane team would sit on a lead, not Ange's Spurs. They would just keep shooting because they don't know how to hold on to a game.
I don't think he knows how to, right?
No, he has no idea. Yeah, so Brennan Johnson shot on target in the first half is +150. That's reasonably tempting. Because his regular shot on target is -210. Not brilliant. But yeah, I'll probably just end up taking his goal or to score or assist, because this game's going to have goals, and the odds of him not being involved, it feels unlikely in the form that he's in.
You got to imagine Tottenham are going to score 2 or 3.
Yep.
And him not having any goal contribution is going to be, it feels weird. Especially there might not be Son in this game either.
Yeah.
So he's not scoring goals.
Yeah, exactly. I don't hate that at all. On the West Ham side, I'll probably peek. The West Ham shots line's actually really nice. If, it's not that, like, because Spurs can't really defend that well. So, if you like, for example, Kudus, his 2 shots is like almost even money. I'm gonna go peek it right now. Kudus, where is this boy? Oh, it's -145. I was wrong, but it's close.
Yeah.
Well, not close, but like, Fulkrug -135. Thomas Suchek +115, depending on where he's playing. That could be fun. And it's not like Spurs are this defensive wagon. You know what I'm saying?
I like the both teams to score, and over 2.5 is -150. Like, imagine it's like what are the teams when Newcastle and Tottenham, where they're both teams to score, and over 2.5 start at -200.
Yeah, I feel that.
We've been invaded by the Juliet knocked at my door to get in.
Oh yeah, lovely. For those of you listening and not watching on YouTube, Brad's baby has invaded the recording space. She's now eating the mic. Beautiful. Can't go wrong with that. Hey, if she has picks.
What are your picks? Wait till she start talking.
Oh, can't wait. I need to know if she's going to be an Arsenal fan. Alrighty. The next game I want to talk about is Man U against Brentford. Again, this game seems like a lot of fun. I see goals in this game, and what's really funny is I was debating whether to use both teams to score, which I really like as a builder piece, as that in like a 2-leg builder, or if I want to commit and do both teams to score over 2.5. And when I was thinking about taking both teams to score over 2.5, my question was always, who's going to get that second goal? Who's going to score the second goal? And At no point did I think, is it going to be Brentford? My first thought was, are Man U going to get the second goal? And that's wild. What a world that we live in, that Man U at Old Trafford. I've got to actually think and ask myself, are you going to score twice? Wild.
I actually, I like Brentford to score in the first half. It's like plus 142.
I like that. Oh, that's really nice, considering the streak that they've been in. I'm going to have to peep around, but I think DraftKings might offer it. I think certain books offer, like a goal scored in the first 10 minutes or the first 15 minutes. Brentford just keep fucking doing it. They've now... it really sucks because I think it was Nathan Collins that scored last game. Happened in the second minute. So they just broke their streak of having 3 games in a row in the first minute, with a goal in the first minute. But they've now got 4 games in a row with a goal in the first 2 minutes, which is still really impressive. And I don't understand how they keep doing it. So let's see if it happens. I feel like all eyes on Brentford, because at this point, teams know. You should really know that they have figured something out on kickoff, and there's a good chance they're going to score off it right now. So I'm very curious to see how Man U react to this and if Brentford are able to get another goal early on.
That would be so sick if it happened.
I know. It's hilarious.
I was like trying to figure out like if there were props in this game I would take too. I couldn't find anything that really kind of tickled my fancy. Maybe Casemiro shots, but I didn't even look at the prices. Probably, those days are gone, right? Like betting his 9s are just dumb.
He also doesn't get the start from Man U anymore. That's the thing.
Yeah, true.
They just don't trust him anymore.
Starting recently, and his shots are plus 130.
Yeah, but he doesn't shoot. That's the problem. Is
he's the guy you want to shoot. But
yeah,
he's not shooting unless it's Denmark.
That's the thing. And I have people have messaged me on Twitter or they've tagged me in Discord, and it's usually right after an international break, and they'll send me Ericsson shot lines and be like, yo, Sam, what do you think about this? This looks sick. And I got to be like, it would be sick if he was getting priced like this for Denmark. But he plays a very different role in this Man U side. This man's a defensive mid for Man U. It's not fun. I tell you what, I feel like I could probably try and sell you one on Buemo to score or assist at plus 150.
That is a really good price.
You know what I'm saying? If Brentford are scoring, and I think we both agree that Brentford are getting a goal here,
it's a really good chance that it's in Buemo.
It's probably going to be in Buemo in some way, shape, or form. He also takes pens, and let's be honest, I don't exactly trust Man U to be defensively disciplined here.
I just had such a hard time with this game from a prop perspective.
Now I'm kind of curious.
I was interested in Manchester United first half corner handicap, but dude, they've been so bad at corner handicaps this year, like so bad.
I believe that. They're just not fun.
Automatic. Now it's like I'm tired of getting burnt.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. See, this is where I'm just I'm shopping things on the fly because that's how we vibe over here.
Hell yeah.
If this is what and this was my strategy before I started like really pushing for first half shots, was like shots builders where I would pair 2 guys to get like 2 shots each. Yeah. And now, again, I'm not shopping, I haven't really shopped around. I'm not going to like shop every single book while I'm recording. That's just egregious. But I've got FanDuel open. So, I'll tell you what I'm looking at right here. Rashford to take 2 shots and Buemo to take 2 shots, parlay together, minus 132.
That's not bad.
Not bad. And that's typically what I would do. I would pick, in a game that I think is going to be pretty back and forth, lots of shots. If you can't get the first half shots, because typically if I was doing a builder, I would do Rashford and Buemo to get a first half shot each, Yeah. Now, when you do it for full game, you really have to bank on guys that are going to play, more, it doesn't have to be 90 minutes, but you don't want it to be the first guy out. Rashford's is a tricky spot. So, I'm not necessarily locked on that, but he's been getting the nod recently. He had a really good game against Porto in the Europa League. So you're going to give him credit where it's due. He played well in that game. And, on the way to getting his confidence back, you got to think he's going to try and shoot. Now, of course, if they put Garnacho there on the left wing, which they probably won't, although to be fair, it would be hilarious if they actually do that now that the first half shots market is gone. Yeah. That would be just my luck if they finally listen to me and they give me that. But yeah, you could pick anyone. You could pick someone on Man U that you like. I'd probably go with Rashford and pair him with Mbeumo, and bang, that's a builder right there.
That's a good picker.
Or you pair Mbeumo with Brennan Johnson. Although the problem with that is Brennan Johnson plays in the early kickoff, and you might not know if Mbeumo is going to start. Will he start? Probably. Yeah, he's their best player, but you don't know it for sure.
You don't know. He could catch a cold.
Yeah, you never know. So that's kind of how I'm going to be approaching these games now. But I like both teams to score over 2.5. I think this is a good game for that. Someone will find a second goal. If Man U aren't scoring it, they'll concede a late winner like they did against Brighton. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think I'm going to bet this game.
Really? It looks like so much fun, though, Brad.
Just like next year, be shocked. One game I'm probably not going to bet is the Liverpool game either.
Yeah, that's a fun one. And I think we've spoken about this. I can't remember if it was Liverpool-Chelsea or if it was Liverpool-Spurs a bunch of episodes ago, but that's one of those games where the under just looks so tempting. But I have one game I want to talk about before we get to that game, and it is Bournemouth against Arsenal. Now, this is interesting because Arsenal have a decent line. It's very juicy to take as a straight. But they're at minus 150 on the money line, and they're minus 155-ish to score twice. That's really tempting because it's interesting because Arsenal play, people might look at the game and say, they're priced that way because Arsenal are playing away from home. Arsenal almost play better away from home. It's really weird. We've had some really shaky performances at home, but for some reason, away from home, we just rock up and just ruin the party. And we do it like easily.
I took Arsenal -1.
I like that a lot.
It's plus 125 when I bet it. It's down to plus 124.
I still take that. Wow.
Bournemouth just aren't good, right? And they're definitely a team this version of the team that needs the ball a lot to score. They need a lot of opportunities, and they're just not going to get that. Evan Nielsen, not quite there yet. Normally, you know how it goes. Guys come from Portugal or any of those smaller leagues. It normally takes a year for them to kind of adapt. Semenyo, not that accurate of a shooter. He takes a lot. It's having here, like the list goes on of guys who can be volume shooters, but they're not like guys you think are going to score off small opportunities. So I thought at -1 it was really nice. And also a friendly reminder, Arsenal lost this match. Lost. They dropped points this match last time they played because Arsenal scored in the 18th minute and then literally just sat on the ball and conceded in like the 80th minute. That's not going to happen again, right? Like, I think that Arteta knows, right?
When
like,
did we drop points to Bournemouth?
Last season, January.
Oh, you know what you're thinking of, Brad? You're thinking of our preseason friendly.
That was a friendly?
It was, but you know why? Because we played. Vieira scored in the 8th, and I've got it up
Vieira scored. It was a friendly.
It was a preseason friendly. Scored. Yep.
And then Semenyo came on late. Semenyo came on late in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Semenyo came on late in that game and scored. He was the one who scored late in the game. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that one. What you might be thinking of is the game a couple of seasons ago where it was 2-2, and this is when Arsenal were really pushing for it, and Reece Nelson scored that goal off the corner in the 97th minute to win it.
Oh, you guys were down 2 in that match.
Yes,
right?
We were down 2-0. They scored in like the first minute, one of those stupid ones. I don't remember who was playing. It was probably off a fucking Ramsdale mistake because he kept fucking doing that season.
Yeah, it was.
That was our first like big title charge game.
Yep.
Like the first, and this was the game where we thought, if we drop points here, it's probably over, and then we kept the hope alive.
97th minute.
Yeah, literally right off the corner. It came right out to Reece Nelson. He took a touch and then hammered it into the top right corner.
Yeah.
But that
was the only game between you two that like went over like a shit ton of goals because you guys were playing from a losing position. Normally, you guys it's nice and tidy victory.
Not necessarily. Here, let me walk you through our most recent results.
Walk me through your history.
I'll walk you through it because I've got the FOPMOB page open.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm just doing this off memory.
Fair enough. So discounting the preseason friendly because our lineup there was awful.
Okay.
Last season, we beat them 3-0 and 4-0. Season before that,
Wow.
The season before that is the 3-2 game. And then the away game, we won 3-0. And then before that, in 2020 now, we beat them 2-1. The last time that we didn't beat them in a competitive match was December 2019, which was 1-0.
Makes me more excited about my bet.
So since then, 2-1, 3-0, 3-2, 4-0, 3-0, and then 1-0 if you count that friendly, which I personally do not, because we had Carl Hein, Heaven, and Lewis Scaly playing.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, I was like, so I think
better bing, better boom. Drop the Arsenal dick on you.
I think the line opened at minus 140, minus 145. And when I was going to go bet it, I was like, Arsenal are a tough team to do combo bets like money line and over or under.
Yes.
If you just think Arsenal are going to win, you just might as well take the -1 if you don't want to lay the juice.
That's fair. Yeah, if you can get a nice price on -1, that's worth it. You know, I got really upset because I got a really good. I beat the line at the time and got Arsenal at like -130 for their team total over 1.5 against Spurs. And then later that day, Odegaard got hurt for Norway and the line just like tanked. And I was just like, God damn it. I'm sitting on an absolute shit.
I did see you guys had a lot of questionable players. Anybody of note outside of Odegaard going to be out that you want to kind of let me know about?
Yeah, so it's a tricky thing. So Saka didn't practice. Saka came back early. So Saka came back early from England. He hasn't practiced early this week. I don't know what the situation is as of today, which would be Friday when this comes out. You know, Saka's a little bit questionable. Calafiori's a little bit questionable. Timber's a little bit questionable. So, you know, but that I think is just a standard. I think this is now going to be standard international, post-international break load management, Yeah. Saka got hurt in the first game. Lee Carsley said that Saka probably could have played in the second game if he really needed him to, but he said no bother risking it. He got sent home early. I have no doubts that Saka's going to be fine for this game. I don't think it would hurt you to wait. I mean, you've already bet it. So.
I mean, I do shows, right? Like you.
Yeah, exactly. You have to lock things in. Yeah. So I don't think for anyone thinking about it, I don't think it will hurt you that much to wait until lineups to make sure all the big boys are in. If, I don't think it's going to, what's it now? Plus 124 or so.
Yeah.
If you lose 5 or 10 cents on that line to make sure the starting guys are in, that's fine in my books.
I looked too because Arteta probably should have talked to the media on Thursday, but I didn't see any quotes, and I'm not going to do go and watch everything he's talked about.
Fair
I didn't see
enough.
any quotes talking on him though.
I would be surprised if we aren't playing a fairly full strength lineup. I think the only place where it's like genuinely questionable is in defense because Timber we've been really cautious with him coming off his ACL tear.
Yeah.
And Timber picked up a knock. Calafiori picked up a knock. So we had.
I need to update my fantasy.
And Ben White's been a little bit. That's the reason why Ben White hasn't been starting. We've been playing Timber at right back and Calafiori at left back is because Ben White hasn't been 100% fit either. So, last game we played, we had Partey at right back, which is obviously not what we want. He did the job, but when Arsenal can finally move on from Thomas Partey, I'll be happy. Just thinking about this, Arsenal are yet to play a game with their full strength lineup, Brad, which is
it's crazy.
We are, Raya in goal, and then basically pick, Saliba and Gabriel at centre backs, and then pick 2 out of 3 out of Ben White, Calafiori, and Timber to be on the outside backs. Any combo there is fine. We've had that for the most part, but then it's the midfield and the front 3. We are yet to play a game with Marino, Rice, and Odegaard in the midfield altogether. That's wild.
It's insane, and it's just crazy to think you guys are only getting better, and you're only going to get better when everyone's healthy.
And we've played hard games. We got PSG in the Champions League out the way. We got Spurs away. We got City away.
Yep.
All done early.
Really good.
And we didn't, and we got a good amount of points from those games, Should have beat City, but I'll take the draw under the circumstances. No need to get into that one again. And we beat Spurs. So You know, considering we have not had our full strength lineup at all this season, you know, we're in third place, 1 point off the top, and we're doing pretty well in the Champions League. You know, but we've only played 2 games, so it's early days on that. But, you know, a win against PSG is pretty big in my books.
Really big. Really big.
Kind of upset we didn't beat Atalanta, but I think that was our first game without Odegaard. We played Atalanta, but it was in Italy and it was 0-0.
Was that Champions League?
Yeah, that was Champions League.
Oh, okay.
We've only played 2 games, and we drew 0-0, and I was just like, it's in Italy. We didn't have it was our first game without Odegaard. I'm not too upset about that. And then I saw who did they play recently? Como?
Oh,
It was Como, I think.
Como. I bet on freaking the shit Atalanta. I did take their corners, which cashed, but oh my God, they were up 1-0 and just imploded.
And then 3-2. And then Como beat Atalanta 3-2 in, you know, at Atalanta's home stadium. And it's just like, yo, if they're doing that, why the fuck couldn't we win that game? You know? Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But yeah, just the fact that you can get Arsenal on the money line at -150, I think is wild to me. You know, this is the Bournemouth side that we have played very well against, and you know, if you don't want to take -150 straight, fair enough. You know, pair it with Saka to take 2 shots. Bada bing, bada boom.
Manchester City double chance.
Yeah, well, that's probably going to be like -1,000.
I know it's probably like -3,000 because they're like -3 something just to win. Wait, I actually want to know.
Oh, they are like -300 or -400 away from home at Wolves.
Oh yeah, not a chance. Because all right, let's see. I don't even see the line. Double chance. -1,200.
Yeah, it's gross. And this is the Wolves team that have been tricky for Man City before. So
yeah,
you know,
Wolves are
not worth it. Here. But yeah, we should do that. And then the final Prem game that I want to talk about is Liverpool against Chelsea. Now, this game, they just played a really exciting game relatively recently. But before that, all the games had been 0-0. So Liverpool just beat them 1-0, but that was in the cup, and I think it was 0-0 after. So that was 0-0 after regulation anyway. So that counts as a 0-0. There was a fluke 4-1 in the mix from last season. And then before that, 1-0. They had gone 4 0-0s in a row, and the line is set at 3.5. Now,
and Liverpool have only conceded freaking 2 goals all season.
Yes. So now, is this the same Chelsea team of a year or 2 ago? No. Cole Palmer is playing very well. They now have a very legitimate goal threat. Even Nicholas Jackson's playing well. That being said, this is at Anfield, and right now, even though Liverpool have had a very soft schedule so far, they have the best defense in the league. 3.5 is a high line for this game. Very, very high.
Very high.
And it really feels like one of those ones where
I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a really cagey match.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they only, 4 goals is a lot of goals. It's a lot of goals.
A ton of goals.
I'm going to say that about a bunch of games. Like I said about Spurs against West Ham. I'll say it about this game too. Could there be 4 goals? Yeah. 3-1, 2-2 is a very realistic scoreline here. It could happen. But when you're giving me the under at like -120 for there to not be 4 goals, yeah, that's very tempting to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I want to lock it in yet, but I am really thinking about it.
I haven't figured Chelsea out this season, so I'm okay with not betting it.
Yeah. Could just be a game where you just sort of sit back and watch and, hope it's enjoyable. It's a Sunday game. There won't be any other games, won't be any other Prem games going on. So you don't have to worry about picking which game to watch. You could just sit back and enjoy it. Who knows?
Yep.
But it should be fun. But, Cole Palmer shots. That's probably very doable because Liverpool will commit fouls.
Yeah, Liverpool will commit fouls. And they'll under slot. If they score first, they are 100% switching off. 100% letting them have possession of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. But yeah, that line feels high. So if you want to sweat an under, I haven't decided on it, but I very may well take it. So we will see. Brad, did you have any other Premier League games that you wanted to talk about?
No, we talked on my favorites. So
Beautiful. All right, let's hop on a plane, head over to Spain.
Spain.
Really only one game I wanted to talk about because, as much as I think La Liga can be fun, it's not something I'm going to delve massively into. But we have Celta Vigo against Madrid. And Madrid are, again, well, it's worse than Arsenal, but Madrid are almost bettable. Now, if you wanted to pair Arsenal moneyline with Madrid moneyline, that could be a lot of fun. Madrid are about minus 170 on a money line away from home. And like Arsenal against Bournemouth, they have dominated this matchup in the last 3-4 years. And they're probably still pissed about losing in the Champions League, let's be honest.
I think it's a good parlay piece. Celta aren't good. Madrid need this win. Their players weren't played like that much during international break either, which normally doesn't happen. It's normally like their players are playing a ton during international break.
Yeah, well, Mbappe just came out. Did you see Mbappe's quote about playing for France?
No, what did he say?
He said, and this is, it's really interesting because we're going to be talking about this, like this concept of load management, which is it's pretty big in America, especially with basketball, because just the amount of games that you play, baseball gets played every day, pretty much. NBA is getting played like every day. Yeah. So load management is much more of a thing in America. It hasn't really been a concept in soccer, but now with, the Champions League having a few more games added in, the international break, more games are being played. The summer break is going from like 3 months now to like 2 months, a month and a half. If you played in the Olympics, 2 or 3 weeks, the break for the offseason is getting shorter and shorter. And so a lot of players, I've been talking about a strike. Rodri was talking about a potential strike. Ruben Diaz was talking about a strike. And Mbappe just came out and said, I only want to play the important games for France. So he basically said, if we're playing Gibraltar in a qualifier, fuck that shit. I don't need to play in that. You don't need me. You can handle that on your own, guys. And I think this is like the first example of a player basically being like, no, you call me up if you fucking need me. If you don't need me, I'm taking a break. So I'm not going to say he's wrong to say that. I know a lot of French people have been kicking up a little shit. It's usually like the big nationalists who are just like, it's an honor to play for your country, which like it is. I'm not saying it's not an honor. It absolutely is. But this is the first big, high-profile player to basically say, I'm not playing in small, unimportant games. Don't call me up for that shit. It's not worth my time. That's basically what he said. So if you're going to say that, and basically, he didn't talk about Madrid, but he's essentially saying, I'm prioritizing my club over my country here, so I'm going to rest if I need the rest. If you're going to say that very publicly, you better come and lay the dick down and just absolutely obliterate the team that you play for Madrid. So if he's not, and that's the thing. I can say that, but the odds on Mbappe suck. So it's just like, okay, brilliant. Now what? We're expecting a big performance out of him. What are we going to do? Ladder his shots? His line's probably 4.5. I can tell you to bet Mbappe or you're like, well, I'm not even going to tell you to bet Mbappe. I can tell you I think Mbappe's going to go the fuck off. But the lines are horrific, so here we are.
My God. I didn't know you said that. That's funny.
Yeah, it's a big dick statement right there.
That is that you like he earned the right to say that. Like, holy shit.
Oh, for sure. It's just going to be really interesting to see how the French Federation actually handle that because they can call him up. He can also then just like refuse to play, or Madrid can refuse to send him. At which point it's just like, okay, what are you going to do, France? Are you going to stick to your morals and bench him? Or are you going to respect his request and only call him up when you care about it for the major tournaments? So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
We'll see. Outside of that, if you're looking for Mbappe props, a shot on target in the first half is minus 175. Gross. The only plus money prop is a shot on target in each half at plus 130, which is just gross. Incredibly specific. And if you want his goal, it's minus 110. I guess if you want to take a win cast, if you want to do Mbappe goal and Madrid money line, now you're looking at something in the plus 150, plus 160 range. I could be talked into that, maybe. But it's still kind of gross.
Very gross. I wouldn't bet that.
No, it's tempting though. But again, I don't want to force bets just for the sake of having it. But if you were going to bet Mbappe, that's the way to do it.
That's how you do it, right?
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Any other La Liga games that you like, Brad?
I'm actually, people will start to notice this. I'm actually really cautious after a national break. That first game, I'm really cautious after it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, honestly. I mean, one, my favorite market is gone. So that's going to reduce my volume by default. And two, we really don't know how these players are feeling coming off the break. So there's just a lot of unknown factors going on here.
Especially the like the South Americans and stuff. Like they literally had the longest trips back over.
Yeah.
And they played the latest.
Yeah, I feel that. Alrighty, let's hop over into Germany. Leverkusen Frankfurt. This game feels like a lot of fun. But again, the total is set at 3.5. That being said, I don't think this is a game where I would take the under. I would consider it for Liverpool Chelsea because of the history they have. This game, I've seen both of these teams rack up 4 or 5 goal games. So,
you know,
I wouldn't take the over, but I wouldn't take the under either.
This game was one of my games on my list before the break to circle and wait for. I mean, I want to see if the line is out yet. Let me see. Oh, let's see.
Well, while you're looking at that, I'll tell you what's
minus
absolutely wild.
Minus 1.5 on the first half corners.
Gotcha.
Is plus money.
Okay. Tempting. I'll tell you. Marmouche to score is plus 220 on FanDuel.
Wow.
This is the top scorer in the Bundesliga, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks tempting. You could parlay Wirtz. They haven't listed assist props yet. My guess is they will closer to the time. But if I can get Florian Wirtz to score or assist parlayed with an Omar Marmouche goal, yeah, that's fun.
Very fun.
I'm thinking about that. But yeah, I'm not going to take the over in this game because, I mean, will there be 4 goals? Probably. But we said that about Leverkusen Bayern and it ended up being 1-1.
Oh, my God. And that game had so much potential. It was literally like 1-1 after 25 minutes, I believe.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about in the Bundesliga, honestly. I mean, I was thinking about the Bayern-Stuttgart game, but honestly, I just don't know if Stuttgart are going to deliver. Bayern should win at home, but they're priced accordingly.
I think Bayern win by margin, but I also would need Musiala to be playing.
Yeah, that's true. I tell you what might be back on the menu is Bayern, not Bayern team total, but just general over 1.5 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
That's like minus, that's basic. It's basically over 3.5, just a little bit earlier. It's just take that bet, chop it in half. What do you got? 2 goals in the first half? Cool. It's, Bayern are very aggressive. And, it used to be an automatic bet for me. And then last year on the Tuchel, they weren't playing as aggressively. So, took it off the menu. And now I think it's back on the menu. Because if they score, Stuttgart have decent players,
Yeah.
It sucks they haven't got Guirassy, but Undav is playing well. They've got that new German winger Luerling who's playing well, and Enzo Milo, the French guy, also a baller.
Undav's playing like better than I freaking expected. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, he's playing really well. So could they get a goal? Yeah, and maybe you just take it for the first half and go from there. But apart from that, I don't think there are many other good ways to approach that.
No, I'm probably going to take Bayern minus 1.5. Musiala's playing.
Nice. Sounds good to me. Alrighty. I tell you what, there are some fun games in Italy going on, Brad. Some really interesting matchups. I have circled Juventus Lazio, AC Milan against Udinese, and Roma against Inter. Now, I know this is more your area of expertise, Brad, so I'll let you handle some Serie A magic. What do you think?
Let's start with the Juventus game. I think this game is surprisingly going to be a dud.
I agree.
Because of the midweek fixtures. And Mata's been pretty smart tactically against these teams that are up like closer to their caliber. I wouldn't be surprised. Like if you could find a good price on under 1 goal. So you would need a push. So that's, I think, plus 600. You need, like if it goes 0-0, you win, right? But if you get 1, you push. I wouldn't be surprised if that hits. Like under 2.5 is probably the way to go. but
Under
just
2.5 is about -140. If that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to do.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm actually more excited for Juventus against Stuttgart in Champions League midweek.
Yeah, that should be fun. And we were talking about this earlier in the week, Brad. Now, obviously, this was kind of unconfirmed. It came from a Juventus fan account. But apparently, Thiago Motta is considering the idea of playing McKennie behind Vlahovic as the 10. Now, if that happens, of course, sadly, our first half shots are absolutely cooked. But a McKennie shot on target is plus 175. And McKennie to take 2 shots is plus 120. Those are both on FanDuel. Haven't shopped around, but that's just what I got in front of me. If he plays in the 10, yeah, I think that's worth it.
Wow.
But that's a big if, you know. It's a rumor from a fairly popular Juventus account, but you know, rumors are rumors. But that being said, I've seen rumors turn out to be very true. So we'll see.
We'll see.
You know, it's just going to be a matter of sniping that line before it moves.
Yeah.
Such a shame we won't get first half shots, but honestly, you know, I'll take a shot on target. That man loves to he gets weirdly on the end of crosses. That being said,
Yeah,
he's also the guy that crosses it a lot too. He loves an assist, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if he's playing the 10, I would definitely look at his
definitely
assist.
have to.
Yeah. Now I gotta go check that out, especially with the
Where
way
they
that FanDuel grades assists.
Back.
McKennie assist is plus 430. That's still very nice.
That's be interesting. I really want to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Who knows if it actually happens, but that would be a lot of fun. AC Milan, Udinese. All right, I'll tell you right now, both teams to score is minus 128 on FanDuel.
Oh, you have to take it.
Yeah, right? These teams are playing well.
But Udinese don't keep clean sheets, and regardless of when they concede, they are scoring a goal.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
And
there are the sirens. You know, I really thought we'd get through a whole episode without the sirens. We almost did.
I'm trying to see these goal scorer props. They're probably nuts in this game.
Who knows?
Oh, not that good.
Well, I mean, if Pulisic is playing, he got sent home early from the Team USA camp, which a lot of Americans were fucking pissed about because Game 2 was against Mexico in Mexico. And everyone got really pissy. And everyone's like, ooh, Poch out. Poch lost 2-0 to Mexico. Maybe he's not the chosen one. It's just like, yo, chill. You had a B-tier lineup. Anyway, but Pulisic got sent home early, so he's been able to rest. And that was done deliberately because Poch didn't want to wear him out. So he should be well rested for this game. And they're playing at home, and he's in the form of his life right now.
In the crazy form, plus 155 to score. Florian Chauvin is plus 350 to score, which is a good price. He takes a freaking ton of shots. And you know what's I like about Milan games is they let the other team shoot a crap ton.
That's
under
true.
Fonseca. They let the other team shoot a bunch.
Yeah.
Which make their games fun.
And then the other game I wanted to talk about was Roma against Inter. Brad, are you ready to play the game of is Inter moneyline away from home a trap or is it good value?
It's a trap. It's going to be a draw.
Okay. Good to know because it was like minus 130 and I was just like, Roma are kind of shit right now and Inter are really good, but can they win the game or is a draw good enough?
Record.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like historically too. So let me pull it up. My computer's a little slow.
That's okay. We're all a little slow after this international break. I think it dulled the senses.
I think my computer's pissed, like running all these freaking programs all day long.
Yeah. No, my gambling tab has like 50 tabs that I had to start grouping by sport, and it's just like it's a mess. Well, it's organized, but there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, Roma have lost 4 matches in the past 2 seasons. Have lost 9
at
in
home?
the past 3. Yeah, at home in the past 3.
Oh, okay. So that's an impressive home record.
Yeah, and the match they lost to Empoli. I can't remember that Empoli match they played. Their loss this season.
Empoli are a weird team.
Weird. Empoli only win when they're playing against juggernauts. Like if they're playing someone,
it's like Sassuolo.
Yep, they're playing some of their caliber. But in Empoli's, to be fair to Empoli this year, they're playing pretty solid right now. They've only have one loss all season. Picked up 2 wins. Both were away from home, but haven't lost at home this season. They've been a pretty good team that I've been betting double chance this year.
Nice. Can't argue with that. Any other games in Italy that you want to talk about, Brad?
No, there's none that are, Italy's my one of my corner handicap leagues because it's really easy to control the handicap when teams don't get a ton of corners. Like there's not going to be high variance when if a away team is not going to get a corner, right? Like if away team gets one corner, you're literally in the first half, especially, you're literally like, just get 2 adds the home team when you're cashing.
Right. Fair enough. I mean, I still think corners are the work of the devil, but I know you love them, so fair play.
Love corners.
Yeah. Wow. I'll tell you what, three Serie A games on the podcast breakdown. That might be a record, Brad. I think it might be a record.
It's gotta be.
That is pretty impressive. I even have a game for Ligue 1, and it's the Friday game, so the one that's on today is the Monaco against Lille. This game, I like both of these teams because Monaco have a lot of ballers. Balogun is fit and healthy to start, which I don't know if he is because he wasn't playing for the US. Then I'll take his goal because he's got 3 goals in the last 4. But failing that, they're like 18 or 19-year-old Ben Seghir, absolute baller. I love him. He's I think he had 2 assists in his last game for Monaco, and I think he just got a brace over the international break.
Can I interest you in a fun line for this game? I think it's plus money.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
Let me just double check. Yeah, it's plus 122. Over 3 goals. All 5 of the last 5 Monaco games have seen at least 3 goals, and all 5 have seen both teams to score. But I don't want to complicate it. I don't want to complicate it. I don't think you need to complicate it and take both teams to score in over 2. Because if Monaco win this or Lille win this in 3, especially if one goes down a man, they've seen a lot of games with sending offs recently, both sides.
Yeah.
And both sides have seen situations where they've scored a ton of goals or had to score a ton of goals. I think the price is sick at plus 122.
I think that's a lot of fun. I do think that's one where you have to wait for lineups because there's a good chance Balogun doesn't play because he's a fitness concern. And Jonathan David was playing for Canada like 2 days ago. So again, there's a good chance that either he doesn't start or if he does start, he might sub off after like 60 minutes. And outside of Jonathan David, the only other threat that they have is Zhigova, I think his name is. He's a very good player, but without, the 2 of them, I'm not sure if Lille will score. So that's definitely one where I think you want to wait for lineups.
1,000%.
But in theory, if all the main guys are playing, that's going to be a game that's going to have lots of goals.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. That's really all I had to talk about for the weekend games. Now, we do have Champions League back, which is a lot of fun. And there are a couple of games that I think are worth mentioning simply because they look like absolutely brilliant games. Madrid against Dortmund is a rematch of the Champions League final. Dortmund were pretty pathetic in the Champions League final, which was a real shame because I know we were both sitting on massive futures on Dortmund and the Madrid hedge price was pretty miserable even at halftime. But I think Dortmund have actually improved since they played in that Champions League.
They have, and Adeyemi's playing insane. He's literally feels like he's playing his way off of Dortmund, right? Like he's playing to impress.
Yeah. Well, I said last time we spoke, I think he'd be a good player for Arsenal. That being said, I do think Liverpool are eyeing him up in case Salah ends up leaving. So I guess we'll see. The only caveat to me praising Dortmund is Dortmund, for some reason, this will always be the case, Dortmund are horrific away from home.
Yeah.
And this game is being played in Madrid, and Madrid are coming off their first Champions League loss in 2-3 years. So there is a good chance that Dortmund are and they just roll over and die.
Yeah, they could. Another game that I like, Leipzig versus Liverpool. That's both teams to score in over 2.5, and it's only like minus 120.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Is Leipzig at home?
Yep.
All right, they should get a goal there. I was going to say if it was at Anfield, slot
at Anfield,
pretty well.
Liverpool -1.
Fair enough. That should be a lot of fun. And then I believe this game's on Wednesday. We get Barca against Bayern, and both teams are actually cooking. they both have an off season last season, but now they both look really good. This could be a lot of fun.
I wanted to take Barca money line. It was just a good value on the price.
You could take the tie no bet. You could take the tie no bet at like minus 120.
Oh, that's not bad. Wow.
It actually might be minus 130. But even so,
still not bad.
Still very good at home. It's really they're playing very well.
Iron aren't playing great right now.
No, they're playing well. They're playing. I'd say they're playing very well, but they're not.
Whenever you like get to a situation where you're like, I'm gonna fade a team on the road that's a good team. You just want to make sure you catch them in their dip of form. That's all you gotta do.
Can't argue with that. That should be a lot of fun. And then I tell you what, I never really suggest things like this, but Arsenal are playing Shakhtar and their team total is set at 3.5. That's an interesting spot to consider an under. That's a lot of goals. I know it's at home and I know Shakhtar have been horrific, but that easily could be a game that Arsenal see out 2-0, 3-0, especially without, a player like Odegaard if he rotates the sub guys. I'm not saying to take it. I'm just saying it's something that caught my eye because that line is high.
I already locked in Arsenal -1. Oh my God. And that move first half, it's already moved. How much does it move by? Oh,
what did you get it at?
125. Shit, I need to give us out some Discord before
for the first half. That was Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. Assuming we play with our full strength squad, which we should.
You should.
You would
really hope knock on wood.
Yeah, but it caught my eye. But you know me. As much as I love, or I should say loved, as much as I loved a little degenerate first half shots lotto. I'm one of the guys that loves looking for unders where he can find them. And that caught my eye. So I guess we'll have to see. I'm probably not going to take it, but it caught my eye and I had to mention it.
Yeah, I know.
A 3.5 team total is very high. Not just full game. High. That's a team total.
That's so high.
That being said, we could smash them 5-0 and goal difference does make a difference in this big league format. So I guess we'll see. And I'm not going to, I say I'm not going to bet it. I'll probably take their full game shots. But I had to mention Benfica Feyenoord because I had this game penciled in from the beginning of the season as the game where Karim Aktoglu and Igor Paixão play each other. And this was going to be my first half shots, ladder them both separately, take them together for 2, for 3, both teams, both very back and forth. You could get really good value on their shots. And this was going to be the first half shots game. I had it circled ages ago. And the market is dead, and it's probably not coming back in time for Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever this game is. So, RIP. I guess I'll make a builder out of their full game shots.
RIP for real.
Yeah, really sad. Really sad about that. We're starting and ending with the death of the first half shots market.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the games that really caught my eye. Were there any other Champions League games that you thought looked interesting?
No, those are the only ones that I think are gonna. Where the lines are going to move and you should jump on early.
Nice. All righty. Sounds good. In that case, I think this is a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, this has been fun. Great and fun, right?
Good to be back. We had a week off. The international break was soul sucking. The death of my favorite market was tragic. I haven't fully mourned it yet. But we live and we learn and we got to move on, find new ways to make money. So that's going to be a fun process. Brad, before we say goodbye, anything that you would like to plug?
Just check me out on X at MrBradThomas.
Beautiful. No articles coming out, no power rankings coming out?
No, man. I've been super swamped, really. Like, haven't had a chance to get these. Okay, power rankings are probably coming out tomorrow.
All right.
But if they don't, I don't want to let people down.
When you say tomorrow, do you mean Friday, aka today?
Shoot. I mean, they'll come out tonight.
Yeah, you got it. You got to get the hang of it. You got to think, pretend, put yourself in Friday mode.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. You guys can follow me on Twitter at FIFA Brit. If you haven't followed the podcast, go ahead, follow the podcast. And if you're feeling particularly generous, feel free to drop us a 5-star review. Shout out to the Gold Boys Network for continuing to host this podcast. And if you haven't signed up for the Discord, you can sign up at goldboys.com. We're in the middle of NBA. MLB playoffs, NBA is right around the corner, and the domestic break is over. So good soccer is back on the menu once again. So I say this every week. I'm going to say it again. This is the time of year that you should sign up. We got all the major sports going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So sign up at goldboys.com if you haven't already. Brad, it's been lovely seeing your gorgeous face again. I missed you last week, but I feel like a week off for the international break. I think we earned that. And now it's good to get back into the regular swing of things. Looking forward to getting
a little lubed up. We're ready to rock and roll.
Ooh, all right. I thought we'd made it the whole podcast without getting a little saucy, but you really had to throw it in there right there. Beautiful. Gotta love it. All right, I'm looking forward to some real soccer coming back. Hopefully, Arsenal don't disappoint me. Oh, also, by the way, if you like MLS, it's the last day of the regular MLS season decision day this weekend. I will make content about it. I don't know what yet, but if you want to see what all the MLS teams have at stake, it's going to be a lot of fun. They all play at the same time. It's electric. Stay tuned for that as well. All righty. Brad, lovely to see you. Good luck with all of your bets. And to everyone listening at home, best of luck with all your bets, and we will catch you guys in the next one. See ya!